What's my name? $67,586 freak. Shannon Meyer in the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. You know my name. You freak. And I'm going to detail throughout the length of this YouTube why you are a freak. And your employment must be terminated immediately. Sheriff Todd Baxter or one of his subordinates should provide you with a hearing that I will come to. And you should be fired immediately. For what I'm going to say throughout the length of this YouTube end, you can also look at the other links. And the other links describe a disgusting, vile, sickening descent on my life by a fanatical, degenerate sheriff and a fanatical, degenerate district attorney. This is the payroll I had to demand 50 plus times. And how's your salary on it? Why do you think I know your salary is $67,586? You freak, Shannon Meyer. Because I have the payroll right here in my hand. This is Todd Baxter's re-election defeat. Because there are six-figure cops on here, and that's all you are is a miserable, pathetic cop. Six-figure cops on here. This is going to enrage the people of Monroe County. And he also employs college students that drive vehicles and the minor children of his employees. Is that right, Kathleen Miller? Is Camille Miller your daughter? Is Camille Miller related to you in any way? Is Camille Miller a minor? And when you're thinking, Kathleen Miller, I need to be arrested for asking these questions 1 minute, 40 seconds into this YouTube, and when you're thinking, Shannon Meyer, I need to be arrested for asking these questions, you do not know that you work for a criminal organization. Because you're in a delusional 1984 at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, a bald-headed, party-switching criminal, Todd Baxter. Here's your salary, $67,586. You're paid $67,586 to write a warrant for my arrest for walking through a parking lot I've walked through 4,000 times. Think about what I just said. What do you think the employees at the United States Department of Justice and the employees in the offices of Governor Andrew Cuomo and Speaker Majority in Albany going to think when I inform them that you're writing a warrant for my arrest for walking through a parking lot I've walked through 4,000 times, and how you set me up and using a civilian named Steve Desmond of Broccolo Tree Lawn Care? Because what you did, Shannon Meyer, and you know what you did, you also fell down in my backyard dirt. You're such a pathetic stooge. You can't even stay on your 2 feet when you're losing your mind running into my backyard dirt. I speak to you on the phone for an hour. And I answered every question. I'm cooperating. I do not know you're writing a warrant for my arrest. You already decided before you made that phone call that you're going to set me up and concoct this criminal contempt second. That's not criminal. It's not contempt. I have contempt for your $67,000 disgusting, repulsive existence. I have never committed a crime. In the 30 years leading up to that day, since I was honorably discharged as a 22-year-old Sergeant E5 from 2nd Squadron, 17th Cavalry, 101st Airborne Division Air Assault, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, I got one speeding ticket, $67,000, Shannon Meyer. I have always known the difference between legal and illegal, right and wrong, moral and immoral. You don't know the difference between legal and illegal, right and wrong, moral and immoral, because you are immoral. Because immorality is defined by a corrupt cop, and you are a corrupt cop. Do you understand what I'm telling you, what I'm accusing you of? Because this is what I'm accusing you of. Steve Desmond works for Broccolo Tree Lawn Care, and after I got done talking to you for an hour, answering every question, you have to figure out how to get me in handcuffs and how to concoct a crime for me. Because what you did, you called Steve Desmond of Broccolo Tree Lawn Care, and you talked to Steve Desmond about how to get me to come out of his house. And you also had contact or communication with this guy, the ZZ Top Freak Show, with his long gray beard. So what happened is, here's the guy coming on his tractor, and here's Desmond in the parking lot. I moved here in 2012 with my ex-girlfriend, Laura, because she was hired at the Penfield Public Library. And you can walk to the Penfield Public Library from the residence. There's no grass cutting ever. And the building that Layla Kumar, Neeraj Shah, and these parasites who have unleashed upon me are running off the sheriff about me walking through the parking lot that I've walked through 4,000 times. People walk through this parking lot every day. You $67,000 a year criminal. This should be your full-time job. You should come here and stand right here and write a warrant for arrest for everybody walking through his parking lot. Every day, people walk through his parking lot. How do you explain that to the United States Department of Justice that I'm the only American to be arrested for walking through this parking lot? I'm the only resident of New York to be walking through this parking lot. I'm the only resident of Monroe County to be arrested for this parking lot. I'm the only resident of Penfield, New York to be walking through this parking lot. There are 17.9 million people in the state of New York. Every single person in the state of New York can walk through this parking lot without being arrested except for me because of you. Do you understand me? You $67,000 a year criminal. How is this explained? Here's the guy on his tractor. Here's Desmond. You told the guy on his tractor to go by my residence. You told Desmond that. Desmond has his phone in his hand, and you're waiting for that phone call. I come outside, stand here, tell the guy on his tractor no one owns that money, walk back to my residence. How's that a crime? You $67,000 perversion of justice, Shannon Meyer. How is that possibly a crime? Tell me how that's a crime. You $67,000 criminal hack and stooge. Because that's not a crime. But you need to tell me how that's a crime. You need to detail for me how that's a crime. And how you're using this weed-whacking, grass-cutting loser, Desmond to get here. Because I've written him and told him that you called him and you set me up is what you're doing. There is real crime in Monroe County. There's murder, rape, arson. There are criminals in Monroe County this day that you're concocting this crime. This is what you're doing with your miserable fucking existence, is contacting this weed-whacking, grass-cutting loser, and then he tells the guy in his tractor to go by my residence. You were here instantaneously, in less than 30 minutes. In fact, I think it may have been less than 15 minutes. How is it a crime? $67,000 a year, Shannon Meyer, walk outside, stand here, say no one owns that land, and walk back on my residence. How's that a crime? Shannon Meyer, answer that question. You will have to answer this question and other questions I have throughout this YouTube and other ones I'm going to ask you when I send documentation to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office that you will sign for and your home residence. Do you understand me? Just so I know. You know what I'm saying about you. I'll send this documentation to your home residence. So you understand the facts as I describe the facts. But you're entitled to defend yourself. That's why I'm going to send it to your home residence. Because I don't know if you will receive documentation I send to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Just so you know, you have a First Amendment right to defend yourself. So everything I say on here, you will receive in multiple ways. How is it a crime? You disgusting hack. For me to walk outside and say nobody owns that land, and that gets 60 a year? 60 a year, I'm standing on my lawn in handcuffs. Two of my neighbors watched this happen, at least two. So those are the two that said it to me. One of them said, all he did is walk outside and tell the guy in his tractor no one owns that land and walk back in my house. This is why people hate the police. I have never seen a hatred for the police in the United States of America like the hatred I see now. I mean, there were movements all across the United States of America to defund the police. Have you seen this on television, on Fox News, MSNBC, CNN? People are in a rage about the police because of corrupt, nauseating, disgusting hacks like you, Shannon Meyer. There is a movement to defund the police because Shannon Meyer is paid $67,586 at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office to concoct a crime for an innocent citizen. That innocent citizen is me. How do you explain that that's a crime? Because that's not a crime. You will have to explain it. Where's your morality? Where's your decency? Where's your character? Listen, I had to go to Penfield Town Court and appear before this disgusting hack, John P. Lomenzo Jr. He is 70 years old. He doesn't even know what's going on. Just like you don't know what's going on. This is a list of every employee at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. So when I went to Penfield Town Court and I appeared in front of 70-year-old John P. Lomenzo Jr., the prosecutor didn't talk. You know why the prosecutor didn't talk? Shannon Meyer, because I haven't committed a crime. The prosecutor didn't talk because the prosecutor cannot explain in open court why that's a crime. For me to just go outside and tell a guy to track that nobody owns that land. Do you know why the prosecutor didn't talk? You $67,000 wretched, bankrupt, sick hack? Because that's not a crime. That's why the prosecutor doesn't talk. And Perry Douglas, tell me her name. And tell me the name of the 5'2" three-piece suit boy who also didn't talk in front of Paul Lomenzo. So Perry, I got a prosecutor that appears in front of John P. Lomenzo Jr., a prosecutor that appears in front of Paul Lomenzo. Both times the prosecutor didn't talk, and both times I was delivered to jail. First in Monroe County Jail, and next to Livingston County Jail. And what the fuck, Paul Lomenzo, am I doing in Livingston County? We'll have to explain that when I've lived in Monroe County for 9 years. So this is it right here. Give me 10 seconds. I had to tell my mother and father about this day because of you, Shannon Meyer. I had to tell my 78-year-old mother and 84-year-old father exactly what I said here, and then in more detail. You know what the more detail is, Shannon Meyer? When you pound it on the door, and you can see on YouTube how you are pounding on the door, because you work with psychopaths, and you are a psychopath. I came outside after you fell down in my backyard door, then you ran around to the front, and then one of you fellow whack jobs said to me, we just want to talk to you outside. So you're lying to me at the front door. I walk outside, and then I was surrounded on the front lawn, and handcuffs go on. So I was put in the backseat of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office vehicle. So since I had just answered the door, I was about to go to the bathroom and urinate. So I'm sitting handcuffed in the backseat of that vehicle right in front of my residence. And I urinated in the backseat of your vehicle, so I had to go. And as my physician has told me, if you have to go, then go, no matter where. I'm one of these lucky guys that have the frequency of urination, and I will go. When I run on my bike, I will go. And the reason why I'm telling you this, Shannon Meyer, is not to tell you about my personal health. I'm telling you this because this is what you did to me. I urinated in the backseat of a Monroe County Sheriff's Office vehicle because of you. And then they took me to your Jonestown jail. And I'm handcuffed inside the jail cell. Is that a standard policy for you with the Sheriff's Office, Todd Baxter? Corey Brown, is that a standard policy for you at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office to handcuff someone inside a cell? Because I couldn't reach the urinal, and guess what I did? I urinated on myself. So because of you, Shannon Meyer, and your bankruptcy and your hatred, I urinated in the backseat of a Monroe County Sheriff's Office vehicle, and then I urinated on myself in the jail cell because I was handcuffed inside and couldn't reach the urinal. How is it a crime? $67,000, Shannon. I'm going to walk outside, stand here, say no one owns that land. How is that explained to the elected officials and the institutions I'm going to contact? You will have to explain this because this can't be explained. You will have to explain this. What is wrong with you? Why do you have that hatred in your heart for an innocent citizen? There is that day that you're here after you fell down in my backyard. Murder, rape, robbery, arson, any number of crimes. I don't know what the exact crimes are. But criminal behavior, real crimes are happening in Monroe County. And then you are laying in my backyard dirt. After you wrote this line, walk through the parking lot after being told by certified mail by police that he's not allowed on the property. Certified mail. This is the accusatory instrument. Signed by language. This is such a joke and abomination. This is because of you, this accusatory instrument. One speeding ticket in 30 years since I left 101st. And because of this accusatory instrument by Layla Kumar Shah, you descended on me. You did this to me. Accusatory instrument for walking through a parking lot. It's to my neighbors right here. To have an accusatory instrument signed by Layla Kumar Shah and A.Y. Shah, 50-plus-year-old man living with his mother. It's to my neighbors right there. There were fireworks in Harris Whelan Park in 2018 and 2019. After the fireworks in 2019, I came back, I sat down. I saw 200 people walk through the park lot just in a 15-minute period. That was after, and they were walking through it before. Penfield High School band students were walking through the parking lot. Did you ask these psychopaths, Nayraz and Layla Kumar Shah, does anybody else walk through the parking lot? You don't have to ask them that question. You know why? Because you can see that people walk through this parking lot. Today at 2:30 p.m., my neighbor did what I used to do. And I know him because he's a runner. I'm not telling you this for narcissism. I'm telling you what you did to me. Because what I used to do with Dr. Gloria Nichols, who's my dentist, this has a slight incline. So there are hills that I run. But since this is right next to my residence, I will run up the slight incline. Runners will do 50 to 100-yard sprints. And that's what I would do in this parking lot. I would leave my residence, and I would do about 10, 50 to 100-yard sprints. Sometimes I'd go all the way back to the trees here. I'd walk to the back, I'd go back, I'd go back, I'd go back. That's what I would do. Back and forth. And it would take about 15 minutes. And Dr. Gloria Nichols would sometimes see me, and she wasn't losing her mind because people walk through this parking lot all day long. So today, at about, it's 9:30 p.m. now, at about 2:30 p.m., my neighbor, who is a runner like me, and we have run in the same race. One race, we were both there, called the Wilmot Warrior 5K in Rochester. My neighbor and I both ran that. My neighbor today did what I do. He stood here, ran back to the trees, walked back down, ran back to the trees. Because that's what runners do. Runners will run 50-yard, 100-yard sprints, as every runner knows. Right up from the Olympic champion down to the 80-year-old guy who wants to break 30 minutes in the 5K doing his best. And that's what I used to do. If it's a crime to walk through that parking lot, then it's a crime for my neighbor just today at 2:30 p.m. to do sprints in that parking lot. Are you losing your mind at your fucking Jonestown to arrest my neighbor doing sprints in his parking lot? Because if I did sprints in that parking lot the same way, if I was alongside him, my neighbor wouldn't be arrested, but I would. You will have to explain this fanaticism to the United States Department of Justice. And it can't be explained. Your fanaticism cannot be explained. This is the addendum here. This is your addendum. This is you. You wrote this. On the above dated proxy 1440 HRS, you can't even fucking write. Why don't you just spell it out? This is not the laziness of you, $67,000 Shannon Meyer. On the above dated proxy 1440 hours HRS, spell a word out. I'm going to send you a copy of The Elements of Style by E.B. White and Armstrong Jr. Because this is an abomination. This deposits me as an innocent man in Monroe County Jail where the prosecutor doesn't talk. Right here. So what I did is I took each sentence and I responded to each sentence, which is right here. That's been sent to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. $67,000 criminal Shannon Meyer. Todd Baxter, fascist stooge. That's what I call him. 955 Panorama Trail, Rochester, New York. This is also 1-130 South Plymouth Avenue. I respond to the disgusting CR number 18075-105 written by your appalling fellow fascist stooge, Deputy Meyer. I've corrected it for the facts. For the truth, you have orchestrated an assault on my constitutional civil rights by an extremist you employ and financed by the taxpayers of New York. An extremist you employ. That's you. There's no doubt that you're an extremist because I use language and I strive to use language with precision. Do you understand me, you disgusting, repulsive hack? Because someone that writes a warrant for the arrest of an innocent man for walking through a parking lot he's walked through every day for 7 years is an extremist. So, now Shannon Meyer. Trespassing, it is a lie. That's what I wrote. This is not Oak Hill Country Club. It may not have made the same walk for 7 years. I've lived at 26 Sanders while I'm driving Penfield. I pass the same individuals as routine, as ordinary. Since you and your deputy fascist dudes Meyer targeting me, you must target every single individual making such a walk for its 14th Amendment. Does your demented brain understand equal protection of the laws? Does your demented brain understand equal protection of the laws? The answer is no, Shannon Meyer. You don't understand the equal protection of the laws because I don't have a 14th Amendment right to walk through that parking lot. You repulsive, disgusting, sick hack. Yeah. I continue. The document Shaw claims establishes ownership of the land next to his house and behind his house is not an official document for the town of Penfield. That's exactly right. This is it. That's what I was looking for just now when I paused. That's not a document that establishes land ownership of the land alongside my residence. Did you go and ask Neeraj and Layla Kumar Shah for documentation, Shannon Meyer? You see what I'm holding here in my hand? That's not a document that the Monroe County Office of Real Property can confirm that Layla Kumar and Neeraj Shah own that land. Do you understand me, Shannon Meyer? That's not a document that proves land ownership. Are you aware of that fact? And the answer is no. Not aware of that at all. How's it a crime to walk outside, stand right here, say nobody owns that land, and go back to my residence? How's that a crime? Respond. You will have to answer this when I contact the United States Department of Justice. It is not a title, it is nothing. This document for Shah has no identifying mark or notarization that indicates ownership. That's right. No identifying mark or notarization. Land ownership has certain seals, if that's the correct word, to establish the person owns that land, and that's nothing. That is nothing from the psychopath. Do you understand that a facsimile is a concoction? That's exactly what it is, a concoction. Do you understand property ownership is proven by official issued documents of the local, state, or federal government? He highlighted what he thinks is his land. It looks like he did it in crayon. That's right. And one of the documents I had, he highlighted the document I just showed you in pink, I believe it was. Tell me why I'm the only individual that has activated the fanaticism latent in Russia. That's right. Why am I the only individual that has activated their fanaticism? These are sick individuals. And when you went over there, you should have been able to tell right away that they're sick by talking to them and how demented they are and incoherent they are. Sick individuals. These are sick people. But since you're sick too, you can identify with them. Does each think I'm the only resident Penfield walking on the consecrated cement of the parking lot? 20 plus individuals a day place feet on it. That's right. It's about 20. It depends on the weather. Like today in January, since it's freezing cold and it's snow on the ground, the number of individuals are not going to walk through the parking lot like there would be on June 30th at Harris Whalen Park or throughout the summertime. This should be your full-time job, standing at this parking lot. You should park your pathetic, disgusting ass right here and arrest people for walking through that parking lot every day if, in fact, that's a crime. It's not a crime. But since you think it's a crime, this should be your full-time job. Do you understand me? Your $67,000 a year stooge, Shannon Meyer. How do you possibly employ the money from the sheriff's office? You are why American citizens despise and detest the police. Upon my arrival, I spoke with V. Shaw. How is he a V for victim? How is that explained? He's not a V for victim. That's the answer. This is your hysterical destruction of my life, character, integrity by describing this fanatic as a V for victim. How is he a V for victim? That can't be answered because he's not a V for victim. That HIS was on the property again today, even though he's been informed that he's not allowed to be there. Who informed me? Are you informing everybody? How about my neighbors that I just showed that in that picture? Did you inform my neighbors? Did you inform my excellent friend? Did you inform the elderly woman across the street? Did you inform Penfield High School band students? Did you inform the 200 people that walked through the parking lot in a 15-minute period after fireworks at Harris Whalen Park? Are you informing every single person that walks through this parking lot that it's a crime to walk to that parking lot in your 1984? The victim. I'll call George Orwell about the victim status of a long-suffering shot. If he moves his Fortune 500 law firm, perhaps he will find the proper medical care. Informed, you know how? By screaming. He was screaming at me, as I said repeatedly. I moved to 26 Sanders Farm Drive in 2012 with my girlfriend Laura for 6 years. I made this ordinary walk every day. I'll do the math. 6 times 365, 2,910. That is going to weapons. 6 times 365, 2,190. That is returning for weapons. That total, Shannon Meyer, is 4,380. Am I New York's 4,380 time criminal? 4,000 plus times. Have I committed a crime in the state of New York 4,000 times? How do you answer that question, you sick hack? How is that answered? 4,000 times. I now know that in sick and delusional Baxter world, I was on a criminal rampage 4,000 times. I was shredding the laws of New York 4,000 times. I know you think I should be executed. Every single person walking through this parking lot one time must be arrested, because if I'm arrested, then everybody's arrested. You must station a deputy fascist stooge at his entrance on Sanders Farm Drive and his exit on Penfield Road to activate your berserk default. This is again with your V. I'm going to read what you wrote and then my response to it. V. Shaw stated that he informed HIS yesterday while he on walking through the parking lot of the above address. You can't even write. That's a grammatical error right there. I'm going to read that again. I mean, did you write this in 10 minutes? You even pay attention to the language you write when you're descending on me and concocting crime? Grammatical error in the accusatory instrument. When I write a document, and I've been a public employee in Albany, Washington, D.C., and would go to my respective bosses, I would use the spell check that was attached to the computer, and then I would read it. And I would have a pen next to it because I was always concerned about my spelling and my grammar. Because my boss, Congressman Lawrence Smith in Washington, Senator Olympia Snow, on Capitol Hill, Governor George Pataki, Senator Majority Leader Rapparino, could possibly read it, even though a lot of the communication is between staff. But sometimes document staff writes reaches the boss and it has to be grammatically correct. Does that concern you? I'm not talking about myself from narcissism. I'm talking about what a pathetic, disgusting fucking train wreck you are when you can't even write an accusatory instrument with the proper grammar and spelling. So, here we go. Now pay attention, Todd the fascist stooge. Shaw stated that he confronted HIS yesterday today while he on walking through the parking lot of the above address. I want to repeat that because I just talked about your sickening, nauseating inability to communicate with simplicity. Shah stated that he confronted H.I. says today while he on walking through the parking lot of the above address, and V. Shah stated that H.I. says began to swear at him, told him he didn't care if he called the police to display his middle finger. He is screaming in his car at me, and he didn't tell you that. Screaming at me like a psychopath. Do you understand me? $67,000 a year psychopath Shannon Meyer. Now pay attention, Todd, the fascist dudes that explain the facts. I walked from the sidewalk on Penfield Road through the parking lot for 4,000 times when I heard screaming. I looked behind me. I did not see V. Shah. V. Shah was going berserk in his car because I transformed him to a V for victim. Shah doesn't possess the decency to exit his vehicle and talk to me as a normal human being. I'm going to repeat that because this is who you're with. These two disgusting, repulsive human beings. You should know a disgusting, repulsive human being because it's you. Shah doesn't possess the decency to exit his vehicle and talk to me as a normal human being. Tell me, Todd, when you walk into your office at 677 Panorama Trail, do your fellow fascists do just scream at you from inside the patrol vehicles? If this emotional collapse occurred, you would counsel the afflicted deputy. The exchange with Shah happened quickly. I don't recall the language or extending my medical finger, but I probably did. And fuck you, Shannon Meyer. But if I fucking swore at Nairaj fucking Shah, I certainly fucking apologize for hurting his little fucking feelings. If I extended my middle finger, you can see me extending my middle finger at you every day in the surveillance camera you spend taxpayer dollars upon to monitor my movements at the Consumer Insights Building at 2025 Penfield Road. I'll break the news to you, Todd. Swearing and extending a middle finger is legal. That's right. So what? I swore and gave him the middle finger. What's that have to do with anything? My dentist, Dr. Gloria Nichols, occupied this building before Shah. For a year, I passed Dr. Nichols, and she would extend the customary good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. That's right. She would say hello, whatever the greeting would be. Then it was time for me to go to the dentist. I picked her because she was so close. Because Dr. Nichols understands civility, Dr. Nichols comprehends she lives in the United States of America. Dr. Nichols saw 20-plus individuals a day walk through the parking lot. Dr. Nichols is not locked in a sick, demented break from reality like you, Meyer, and Shah. When it came time for me to visit the dentist, I visited Dr. Nichols. She's still my dentist. I continue with you. How am I an A? I don't get this A. This is another thing I don't understand about your incoherence, where I'm an A. Shah further stated that he sent, quote, A. Chichester, certified letter stating that it's not allowed to be on his property. There's also been police contact after the date in which A. Chichester was reinforced by police not allowed to be on Shah's property. Please see CR18-020032 to further intro. I was reinforced by police. How did you reinforce me? Shannon Meyer, did you reinforce me? What's the name of the Monroe County Sheriff Office employee that reinforced me? This is the bankruptcy of your language and your lies. I wasn't reinforced by anyone. And what is CR18-020032? Is that the Anti-Central Intelligence Agency for me? I want to see this, and I'm going to write a Freedom of Information law for it. I want to see this. And then I continue about that language you just wrote. How was I reinforced? Did you shave my head, strap me to a wooden chair, place a wet sponge inside a steel helmet, turn on electricity, and encourage Deputy Fascist Stooge Meyer to reinforce every individual in Monroe County walking in the parking lot in Monroe County? That's right. Reinforce everyone in Monroe County, Shannon Meyer. Reinforce every single person in Penfield, New York. 36,000 people in Penfield, New York. 200,000 in Monroe County. 17.9 million in the state of New York. Reinforce every single citizen in the state of New York for walking through this parking lot. So, I encourage Deputy Fascist Stooge Meyer to reinforce every individual in Monroe County walking in the parking lot. Tell her to go crazy when she's not crash landing on her face in my backyard. This little certified letter included a piece of paper that purports to be Shah's property. Pay attention to these next 4 words. Todd the Fascist Stooge is not notarized. As Shah, who claims ownership of property without the required affidavit, Shah highlighted what he thinks is his property in orange. It is pathetic. Have you seen this document, Todd the Fascist Stooge? Did Shah present you with this document? He claimed established ownership of the land behind my house. Did you simply believe Shah when he claimed he owns the land? You know the answer. Shannon Meyer. This is what you must do, Todd the Fascist Stooge. Tell Shah to present you with a document that is notarized. Tell Shah to not highlight what he thinks is his land in pink highlighter like a child. Tell Shah to go to the Real Property Tax Service at 304 County Office Building and obtain the notarized document. Without that document, Shah owns nothing behind my house. Capiche, baby? Shah owns nothing behind my house. And alongside the residence, there's no documentation with the required notarization that establishes land ownership. Do you know this fact? You can look at it and see nobody owns it, but the land behind my house where I used to walk my dog, I'm going to get to him. About you psychopaths at the sheriff's office showing up to demand my little guy. So I'm going to quote the 14th Amendment for you. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges and immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state derive any person of life, liberty, property without due process, nor any person without its jurisdiction. Equal protection of laws. Equal protection of laws. That's a post-Civil War amendment. I have equal protection of laws. Upon my arrival, I spoke with V. Shaw, stated that he charged just was on the property again, and even though he's been informed that he's not allowed to be there. Informed how? This is the same lie. I was not informed that he's not allowed to be there. That's the exact language. I was not informed I'm not allowed to be there. You talk like a third-grade child. You write like a third-grade child. Shaw believes screaming at me inside his vehicle qualifies as informed. For 4,000 times, I'm simply walking on a cement my feet have graced for 7 years. It's the same cement, 20-plus other injuries I contact upon every single day. Do you comprehend this activity? Why have you not arrested each and every one of these 20 injuries? That's right. Why not? It should be a full-time job, that parking lot, you sick hack. I can see every individual walking through this parking lot from my downstairs and upstairs windows. That's right. That's why I know. My ex-girlfriend could see them too. And she said to me, what is going on with you? What is happening to you? Why are they targeting you? That's right. Because you, Shannon Meyer, and your $67,000 a year fanaticism are targeting me. I frequently see a man and a woman. This man is walking his dog. That's right. He walks his dog through that parking lot. So I got a guy that's also a runner like me running in that parking lot. I got another guy I know who walks his dog. I'm going to get to my dog story in a minute. Through that parking lot. How come the man isn't arrested with his dog? How come the dog is not arrested? This dog is obviously on a criminal rampage. This dog is transferring Nairaj and Layla Kumar Shan to a FIFA victim. I'll tell you how to inform an individual. We initiated a conversation. That's right. You talk. And they refused to talk. And when I went over there to talk to them, they refused to talk to me. I attempted to conduct a conversation with Shaw, refused because he manipulates you and your deputy fascist dude's mind to speak on his behalf. He doesn't possess the integrity and decency to talk because he believes in a police state. He believes in a police state. You're the police state. You $67,000 nauseating criminal hack, Shannon Meyer. After he refused to speak with me, he called your office, and two of your deputy fascist dudes are at my door again. Again, you fanatics have been here, and I have never committed a crime. One incident is particularly disgusting. I walked my dog on the land behind my house. His employee prisoner opened the window. She screamed. Screaming is the way one communicates in the demented universe of Shaw. I didn't understand a word from this hysterical, incoherent employee. That's right. She's screaming. I'm looking at her. I got my little guy on his leash. I'm looking at his employee. This is who you're with, you hack. I'm looking at his employee screaming at me. I got my little guy on his leash. I'm looking at her. I don't know what's going on. 30 minutes later, two of your deputy fascist stooges are in front of my house in two separate vehicles. Each is standing on my lawn. Next to your fellow fascist stooge is the animal control officer. He has a pole in his hand with a noose attached. This is a pole for a wild animal. My wonderful little guy weighs 12 pounds. These lunatics demanded I surrender my wonderful little guy. It's a vicious confrontation. I told each I would have to be killed to surrender him. Do you not know, Shannon, in the United States of America, people love their dogs. I spoke with S. Chichester, now I'm S and not A, and stated sick that he's never received a map or title of the property and that he was on the property and will continue to walk through 2040 and Bempton Road until he's shown title that proves the Shaw owns the land and he claims it. That's right. I said this because my neighbor walks through the parking lot. My neighbor runs through the parking lot. The only woman across the street walks through the parking lot. Penfield High School band students walk through the parking lot. So what makes me an exception? Fanaticism makes me an exception. And you're the fanaticism of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. That's right, Deputy Fascist Stooge Meyer accidentally got it right. Send me the official document. I've also demanded the video of me standing on the edge of this parking lot. The fact that you refused to send it me confirms you are guilty of destroying the video, guilty of obstructing the video. You know what I'm talking about. Is that your recommendation to put that camera on the building? I finally saw the images. Did you recommend putting a camera, also called a surveillance device, at 2025 Penfield Road to nail me to the wall for walking through that parking lot? Was that you? How do you answer that to the United States Department of Justice? You refuse to send me the video because it's an indictment of your sleazy extra-constitutional attack on my civil and constitutional rights. I'm going to repeat that. You refuse to send me the video because it's an indictment of your sleazy extra-constitutional attack on my civil and constitutional rights. The video was on the phone of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office employee when I was taken to your Jonestown and handcuffed inside that bathroom, and then he showed me the video. I have 50-plus emails, and also in the registered mail return receipt I've sent Todd Baxter demanding that video. You know why I haven't received it? because I'm not committing a crime. Shah signed an information stating he wants HHS arrest for being on his property again. This civilian is telling you I should be arrested. I have never, as a civilian, told a police officer, any person, anywhere I've worked, in Albany, Washington, D.C., in the Army, Fort Campbell, that another civilian should be arrested. This is the fanaticism, the lunatic fringe of this guy telling you, Shannon, Meyer, I should be arrested, but not anybody else, not my excellent friend, not the elderly woman across the street, not Penfield High School band students. This sick, disgusting, vile hack, and you should understand a sick, disgusting, vile hack, Shannon Meyer, is telling you I should be arrested, and you don't tell him he's a sick, disgusting, vile hack, because you attract. Sheriff Shah wants me to be arrested. What is the information he signed? That's right. Where is it? What's the information? I want to see this, quote, information, your incoherence. What the hell is an information, you hack? Find an information taught to fascist dudes and deputy fascist dudes, Meyer. Consult the Merriam-Webster dictionary in your hyperbaric oxygen chamber headquarters and look up information. What the fuck is an information, you sick hack? Because I don't know what the hell you're talking about. That's right. Right there, the next sentence. Because I don't know what the hell you're talking about with an information. I recommend the Elms from Star by E.B. White Armstrong Jr. I'm delighted you concocted this information specifically for me. I'm ecstatic that you continue to go berserk with the creation of laughable documents. That's a laughable document right here. This is a laughable document. This is past the laugh test for any attorney that's going to look at this, which I'm in contact with about my rights. I'm ecstatic that you continue to go berserk with the creation of laughable documents. I'll order a supply of nitrous oxide for you and Deputy Fascist Stooge Meyer whenever you encourage a fake victim to sign information. A fake victim. There's no way in hell that this guy, 50-year-old man named Ross Shah, living with 70-plus-year-old mom, he's a victim. But in your delusional 1984, he is. Mail to my home address this ludicrous information. I've sent this to Todd Baxter, registered mail return receipt. I've said to your fellow whack jobs at the sheriff's office, mail this information to me. I want to see it. This is an accusatory instrument for me. You're writing it's an information. Where is it? I want to see his signature on this so-called information. It's so ludicrous, an information. How the hell are you employed at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? You should never reach your 20 years if, in fact, that's the allotted time to retire and collect benefits. You should be fired immediately. You receive a freedom of information law document produces information. I've already sent that. I'm going to send it again. I will tell you in advance what you do. You refuse to send me this information signed by Shannon. That's exactly right. Because I've demanded it previously. I'll protect your response to communication. You will call your deputy fascist stooges sitting in two vehicles parked beside wagons at 2157 Penfield Road. That's exactly right. Because after I sent this, you were here. Come in here 100 times, and I've never committed a crime. Warrant advised. How do you write a warrant for me walking through that parking lot? Warrant advised. Warrant advised. This is your hatred. This is your consuming hatred and fanaticism and corruption and criminality. Warrant advised, but not for anybody else. How do you point the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Todd Baxter? A warrant for my arrest by deputy fascist dudes in appalling abuse of power. I'm going to say it again. A warrant for my arrest by deputy fascist dudes Miles and appalling abuse of power and a disgusting reaffirmation that you must be removed from office by state legislature sitting in Albany. These are the crime statistics for Rochester. In 2018, the numbers are likely indicative of criminal acts occurring in the city as you read this language. That's right. I'm going to update these statistics too. I'm going to get the latest statistics, but this is real crime. When I say there's real crime, I looked into the statistics. So when you're writing this disgusting, repulsive addendum for me walking through this parking lot, but not anybody else here, this is what's going on in Monroe County. Murders 43, rapes 161, robberies 670. Assaults 971, burglaries 1,455, thefts 5,673, auto theft 664, arson 101. That's real crime right there. I'm going to say it again for you, you sick hack. Murders, 43 murders, and here you are writing a warrant for my arrest for walking to a parking lot. Rapes 161, here you are writing a warrant for my arrest for walking to a parking lot. Robbery 670, here you are writing a warrant for my arrest for walking to a parking lot. Assaults 971, here you are writing a warrant for my arrest for walking to a parking lot. Burglaries 1,475, here you are writing a warrant for my arrest for walking to a parking lot. Thefts 5,673, here you are writing a warrant for my arrest for walking to the parking lot. Auto theft 664, here you are writing a warrant for my arrest for walking to a parking lot. Arson 101, here you are writing a warrant for my arrest for walking to a parking lot. I continue. These numbers represent criminal behavior. This is criminal behavior responsible for preventing, controlling this criminal behavior as real identified victims rather than your phony laugh or VSHA. I hope VSHA obtains the appropriate psychiatric counseling medication for this victim status you concocted from. You, Shannon Meyer, requires psychiatric counseling and medication. I'm not exaggerating. You really need to be under a doctor's care, Shannon Meyer, and $67,000. It's 7:15 a.m. I'm finished with this writing. It's time for my morning run. I walk outside and communicate with you via your camera. You spend taxpayer dollars on the Jonestown Consumer Insights at 2025 Penfield to buy a camera specifically for my star appearance to detect if I place one big toe in this parking lot. I'll stand in front of your camera, raise both my fists, and extend one finger from each fist. You will hear from me relentlessly. How do you employ the Monroe County Sheriff's Office with Todd Baxter? Shannon Meyer. You, Shannon Meyer, at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, must be fired immediately.